Hello, I'm Anderson, and welcome to CCTV's Community Conversation. In the month of October, we asked you what you think the best Halloween candy was, and oh boy, did you guys have a lot to say. I looked through all 38 of your answers, and behold the results. I'm sure all of your dentists are very proud of you right now. There were a lot of unique answers which I wasn't expecting. I thought that there would be a bit more of a blob of similar answers. Elephant in the room, the correct answer was Reese's, as indicated by the graph. 10 people chose Reese's Peanut Butter Cups as the best Halloween candy. 2 of those specifically calling out the pumpkin variety that comes out around Halloween. And I think that is a generally agreed upon thing, that the seasonal Reese's, for whatever reason, just taste a little bit better. The consistency, the form factor of a pumpkin or an egg just makes it a bit more enjoyable to eat. And with a bit of a drop-off, only 3 votes each, we have a tie for second with Snickers and candy corn, which I imagine would be a bit divisive. I think candy corn's alright, but I know it has its haters, so the fact that it tied with Snickers, which is pretty standard for a candy bar, that's... I imagine some people would think that that's crazy. There were 2 separate people who went with the general answers of anything king or full-sized, which I can respect. It's not really an answer, but I can appreciate someone standing 10 toes down for what they believe in. And then tied with full-size candy for third are a bit of an upset, mini M&Ms and Kit Kats. I thought that those would be a lot higher. I know that people who like them really like mini M&Ms specifically and Kit Kats, so the fact that it's third and third behind Snickers and candy corn is certainly an interesting turn of events, but the people have spoken. I'm not personally a huge Kit Kats guy myself, but I do like mini M&Ms. It's interesting how at some point in time we figured out that the best form factor for candy was to take the regular sized, make them smaller, and just put way more into a container. And that's just the perfect formula for candy, apparently. Every other entry you see here only had 1 vote, one of them being no candy. Someone took a very passionate stance against the entire concept of this question. There was 1 vote for Almond Joy that I'm calling out because it had a little smiley face on it, a face that I've never made had an Almond Joy, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. And now there was one of you, and I watched you do it, who wrote down dibs. Dibs? I have a million questions, including but not limited to, can I have some? What neighborhood were you trick-or-treating in where you were getting dibs in your Halloween bag? And also, like, how? It's ice cream. It needs to be put in a freezer. You need to keep it in a freezer where they have like a mini freezer outside giving out dibs to children. Or was it like they give you one and you just pop it right then and there? That's like getting cake on Halloween. That's not a Halloween candy. So wherever you were trick-or-treating, write down the address for me and put it in the next answer box. One answer, that only one, of a candy that I've ever heard of, De La Rosa. I have a very strong idea of who put it down, but congratulations for being the only one to put down something that I had to Google. And as you can clearly see, there are a whole lot more that only have 1 single vote. So shout out to all of you for being able to say I was the sole vote for my favorite candy. I stood my ground and represented my candy when nobody else would. Shout out to all of you for that. And that was the first ever CCTV Community Conversation. Thank you to everyone who put down an answer at the front desk. There will be a new one for November that is going to be what is the best dish on Thanksgiving. So I look forward to seeing your answers to that in November. Bye bye.